Everyone has a unique gift, and Mike, the creator of the 1NELife podcast, believes most people don't know how to use their gifts or what they are. Mike wants you to see things from a different perspective and be true to yourself. The 1NELife podcast, it inspires, motivates, and creates positive energy, love, and compassion to all communities. We only have one life to live. Be yourself and live your truth. Add the 1NELife podcast to your playlist. That's the number 1NELife. Available on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and your favorite podcast platform.
All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the 1NELife podcast, where we talk about positive psychology while taking care of our well-being and telling your stories, because everyone has an amazing story. I am Mike M.I.C. Reed, and in studio today we have Mary Lou, LMFT, licensed marriage and family therapist. How you doing today?
Good. Thank you for having me.
It is so good to finally talk to you, because I follow you on Instagram, and I know you follow me too. And it's just so great to finally talk to you, because you have a lot of great content. I love your mindset. I love what you're doing out there, just from your perspective. And I've always wanted to talk to you, but I knew you were so far away, and I was like, how can I get her on the show? Because I've never done a Zoom show before, so this is my very first Zoom show. But
yes.
And when I put out that post and you reached out, I was like, I gotta have her on. There's no way I can. So thank you.
For sure. Thank you for having me. And I saw that, post. I was like, okay, relationships. That's what I love talking about anyway in the work that I do. I work with a lot of clients that come to me for couples therapy even. So I was like, no, this is the time. Let's connect. We've been following each other for years anyway.
Right.
So why not have a conversation and tell our story and talk about these important topics?
Right. So let's just jump into it, because I know you have a time strain right now because you have another meeting to get to. And I know that I want you back on at some point, because my shows typically go a little long. Like my last show was 2.5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I've never done a 2.5 hour show. Normally they're about an hour, hour and a half. But I definitely want to pick your brain a lot more, especially on this conversation, because again, these are just these conversations that I feel like we have to normalize, right? Especially relationships. So my first question to you is, what is, because I know I get this I don't know if you know my story, but I was married for 25 years with my first wife. And she's amazing. She's the mother of my 2 kids. And we have a great relationship. We're great friends right now, which a lot of people always be like, wow, that is so not normal, which it's not, right? Normally when people break up, they hate each other, right? Yeah. We made it a point to, teach our kids that, you know what, just because things don't work out doesn't mean you have to hate each other.
Absolutely.
And especially because kids was involved, and we saw from experience what that does to kids. Because typically when you're a marriage therapist, when relationships end in divorce, the kids are the one that get hurt the most, right? So
they do.
So that's why I want to kind of normalize these type of conversations and talk more about relationships and all that. Because, I'm somewhat in the dating field now, and it's hard at my age. I'm going to be honest with you.
So I don't want it to turn into a therapy session, right? But definitely, what questions do you have? Because definitely this is so much information, right? When we read about it, what we see, what we view, and a lot of the times, I think the big key things, right? And when it comes to relationship, and it's great that you have a great co-parenting relationship, because even though the kids are older, doesn't mean that they don't need to see healthy communication, healthy boundaries, healthy, how you guys interact and support each other, even if you guys aren't together, right? Kids need that still at the end of the day. So it's great that you have that. And even the dating, right? What that looks like, because a lot of my clients struggle with that too. So ask all the questions you have. I'm an open book anyway, so feel free to jump right in.
I want to ask you what everybody typically asks me. What is the secret to a relationship?
I would say this, and I'm married, been together for 18, 19 years with my husband. And so I would say the key to a relationship, I think it's different for everybody, because what we have to take into consideration is people's traumas, people's stories, people's childhood, people's experiences, people's mental health, right? Everybody's background's different. And also what you bring into the relationship, right? When you start dating and getting to know somebody, because a lot of the times people kind of bring their own crap, whether bringing their own, trust issues, right? That comes into the next relationship, certain triggers that might come up, that you notice. And so I would say the key things are definitely, number one, communication.
Right.
What does that communication look like? Making sure that is clear and honest, right? With each other, making sure you active listening to each other, right? When you are having, difficult conversations, even with dating, getting to know each other, whether it's like, hey, ooh, that's what my ex used to do, right? Like whatever it is, being straightforward and open and honest is the key thing. Trust. And a mutual trust and respect for one another, right, is a thing. Right. And I would say also like aligned values and goals, like belief systems, right? Whether it's spiritual, religion, or anything like that, making sure, or parenting, right? Parenting, being on the same page is a key thing too. And so I would say there's a lot of different things, but the key thing really is kind of like communication, trust, and respect.
Right. And so one of the two things that you said in the beginning was when you go into a relationship, and I just literally said that conversation with somebody like not too long ago, today, matter of fact, is you have to take in consideration someone else's trauma, their baggage, so to speak, right? And it's not to say that, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I love therapy, right? Like I still check in with my therapist all the time. And I know when I first started going to therapy, it really opened my eyes to relationships and just self-healing too, but how relationships should be. So my thing is always, everybody has flaws. Everybody has some type of trauma in their life, right? But you don't bring it into a relationship, but at the same time, you are aware of it, right? And when you know your partner, and I think I talked about this on my last show, when you know your partner, when you know their traumas and their triggers and all that, I think, and with communication, it just helps the relationship even better, right? But it's not to say, bring all your baggage and all your trauma into our relationship. Like what my therapist taught me was, like when we facing each other, that's how you communicate. But when you put your backs towards each other, that's how you communicate your own baggage and trauma. You don't do it facing each other, because like I said, when I was talking to somebody earlier, we all have our own paths in life, right? But if I'm in a relationship with you, you still have your own path, right? It's kind of how we tell people stay in your own lane. Like literally, like you stay in your lane, I'm gonna stay in my lane. Not saying we can't walk alongside each other, because we can, and that's in my opinion how relationships work. We're gonna stay in each other's lanes, but walk alongside each other, right?
Absolutely.
Add value to each other, not trying to make each other happy, because that's as you know, people are always trying to make people happy, and that just doesn't work.
Right? I would say the best relationship is understanding yourself, knowing yourself, who you are, accepting who you are, flaws and all, because we all got them. You know, we got to normalize that kind of conversation of like, no one's perfect, right? And no one should be. Try to aim for that, right? But if you really understand the relationship you have with yourself, right? And that means your own hobbies, your own interests, doing things, and being okay to eat by yourself, go drink to yourself, do whatever it is, right? Like when you're okay with that, like that's when you kind of reach that like point of like, you know what, I love myself. You know what I mean? I understand, like, because and basically like the relationship you have with yourself, you have to know who you are and what you like and what you bring into any relationship.
I agree with that. And one of the things that I still struggle with is what you were saying about eating by yourself, going out by yourself. That's just one thing that I just don't like. Like I understand it. I don't know, because I think my mindset is I like to share life with my partner. Right. Like, so if I'm going somewhere, whether it's a restaurant or go to a movies, because I know a lot of my friends, they go to the movies by themselves. There's no way I can go walk into a movie theater by myself. I look like the creepy old guy. Like,
I'm not just going to do that. That's where my mind goes. It's like, I'm not going to do that, you know, but I do get spending time by yourself, doing things that you love. Like I love reading, right? I love, having a cigar and a cognac, right? Sitting in my backyard listening to music by myself. I love that. You know, I don't mind company while I'm doing it, but I can do that by myself because I do that by myself. I go in my backyard and sit down, have a cigar, listen to some oldies, whatever. I'm cool with that, right? Certain things I'm okay with doing by myself, but like going out, taking myself out on a date by myself is just weird to me.
Try it. Challenge yourself. I'm just saying, do some homework. Like, you know what I mean?
I did do that. That's why. That's how I know I don't like it because I did do it. Because people, I get that a lot. People always like, just go by yourself. I've done these things, and I honestly don't like it.
Yeah.
But I think that's okay. Like I know what I like and I don't like. I think I'm at an age now where I think you just mentioned that, right? Finding yourself, knowing what you like. I know I don't like it.
Yep.
But I do have those moments. Like I meditate. Obviously I sit in my house and I meditate by myself. I do have time and things that I do that I like by myself.
Yeah. And that's good though, that you know what you like and what you don't like. I think that's important for any relationship and finding out, you know, for yourself, right? What you do to kind of cope, you know, if you don't like eating out, like, and I say challenge because, you know, sometimes those uncomfortable situations is also where is growth.
Right.
Because eventually you may like it eventually one day, or you might not still, right? At the end of the day, you know, because I always say when you go out by yourself, you know, it's certain conversations you have with meeting people, you know, connecting with people, even if it's strangers, right? Like just, you know, you get to kind of, you know, when you go out with a friend, you're more likely to not even talk to other people. When you go by yourself, like, you know, you don't talk to other outside people. It's only just you and your friend talking, maybe. Right. You know what I mean? So when you go by yourself in certain places or situations, you talk to so many, you know, it gives you opportunity to really kind of connect or meet other people. Like,
well, I mean, and you're right. Like typically when I go out with someone, right, it's about being present. So not conversation, unless like with me and my ex-wife, right. We used to go to bars and stuff, and I'm a social butterfly. So I can definitely go to a bar or to a lounge and sit at the bar, and I'm gonna strike up a conversation with somebody, and it's gonna turn into a couple hours because I love to talk. Right? I'm okay with that. I think it's the idea of, I guess when people tell me I should go have dinner by myself, it's just it's the thought of me sitting at a table by myself, eating dinner by myself, and just looking at everybody else coupled up or having conversations, because obviously I'm not going to be at a table by myself and then I'm going to look over at the other table and try to have a conversation with, you know, with these people at the other table. I think that's weird. But
that makes sense. That makes sense. But just try it one day. Just lunch. You don't even have to do dinner, right? Like, you know,
I don't mind lunch. I think it's just a dinner thing.
Yeah.
I've done lunch by myself.
Yeah, but also, like you mentioned a key thing, though. You do things, you have things that you do.
Yeah.
And I think that's a key thing, is making sure you have your own hobbies, your own interests, your own things that you do. And those are the things you like, then you stick with, right? Because I know a lot of times, like I talk to a lot of couples, right? They don't have individual things. They don't have hobbies or interests and do things. And guess what? They lose themselves, right? In the relationship dynamic. And so when you have individual things, it just, there's, you know, it's much more healthier, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah. No, right. No, and I agree with that. Like when I was with somebody, I had my own thing, and I would always tell her, like, hey, go do a girls' night out. Like and she was shocked when I said that. She was like, you don't mind me going out with the girls? I'm like, no, like go have fun. Like, call me if you need me. Like, you know, and I'm not checking up on her, you know, again, that's come with trust, you know. But I love that. We do have to, as much as somebody called me clingy one time, and I'm like, okay, I get it, but I'm not really clingy, because if you think about it, I got a full-time job, so I'm somewhere for 8-10 hours a day. I do my own thing. I have hobbies, right? So but when I'm with you, I'm with you. Yeah, I do like going shopping with my partner. I do like doing just walking through neighborhoods, you know, just exploring, you know. I don't know. if I'm clingy, I'm clingy. I'm okay with being clingy. You know what I'm saying? Because I think
there's a difference.
It is a difference.
Clingy and codependent, right?
Right. Right. I do love being with my partner. Like if you're my partner and you're my girl, why wouldn't I want you to go places with me? Why wouldn't I want to go grocery shopping with you, window shopping, whatever? Like, I want to be with I consider my partner my best friend. Yes, I want to be with them all the time. You don't want me to go be with nobody else, right?
That's the thing, right? Like, and that's also probably one of your values, right? And your belief when it comes to when you're in a relationship, right? You want the connection, the peace, the quality time. You got to think about what's your love language. All that plays a big part, right? And the love language, if it's quality time, you're going to want to spend time with your partner. It doesn't make you clingy just because you spend time with your partner.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was weird when they said that. I was like, I mean, okay, I'm clingy, whatever.
It might be their own projection.
No, I know it is. I knew that's what it was. But I love it. And again, it's okay. Like I'm okay with my girl saying she's going to girls' night out or she's going shopping and get her whatever. Bye. Like I see when you get home. I'm okay with that. I think clingy is when I want to go with you, or no, I got to go with you, or you got to come with me because I got to go down the street. That's clingy, and that's unhealthy, right? Those type of relationships, that's control, exactly. So I get that, and I'm far from controlling. Like I believe in freedom. I believe in going to do what you want, go do what makes you happy, And even like if we're in a relationship, if you're not happy with the relationship.
I mean, why do people get into a relationship, right?
Right.
To spend time, to grow, to
have a partner, to be with somebody.
Yeah, and that's the key thing.
The one thing that I learned in positive psychology is that we're all social creatures. So I get when people say they want to hibernate or they want to be alone. I don't get when people say, I'm okay with being by myself. Like I've had a few people say, I'm okay with being on an island all by myself with nobody around. It's like, no, you're not. Like we're not even made that way. Like that's not even healthy. I get hibernating because in positive psychology, we do tell people, no, go hibernate, go be by yourself. Just don't stay there too long. Like when you're in a depressed mode. And that's typically when they say that, when they're depressed or whatever, they want to just be by themselves. They're okay with being by themselves. And it's like, no, we're all social creatures. We're not built that way. That's not why we're here. So I get being by yourself, taking some time by yourself. But you can't stay in that space for too long. Like you have to come out. Yep. Like you're on the world with seven. Right. You're in the world with 8 billion people now. Like you can't avoid people.
Yeah. Human nature though, right?
Yeah.
It's like I think everybody wants love, connection, social. Yeah. You know what I mean? We all want to be loved. We all want a relationship. You know what I mean? Like ideally, And the people that don't are the ones that probably the lack of trust, right? Their own traumas, their own beliefs, issues, right, with it. But ideally, everybody wants some kind of relationship and connection with someone, to feel loved by someone.
And I get that part, and I'm glad you brought that up because I'm gonna segue into this because there are people that have been hurt, so much, like the trauma is so deep that they don't know how to take down those walls, right?
Yeah.
And to me, that's unhealthy, right? Because I have a friend that she's an amazing person, but she just doesn't know how to take down the wall. And she admits it. She said, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to get past it. Because she was just in this horrible abusive relationship and she don't know how to get past it. And when I tried to say, well, try therapy. And she said she did. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about as well. She said she tried therapy. And I've heard this story a million times too, where they tried therapy and they got a bad therapist. Not to say the therapist was bad, but it just wasn't the right connection, right?
Yep.
But now they don't like therapy. And it's like, no, therapy is like, you got to find that right one. You might not find the right one because everybody connects differently with people. So just because you tried this one person and the connection wasn't there, doesn't mean therapy doesn't work. You just got to go find the right therapist for you.
Absolutely.
Right? So
keep trying. You know what I mean? That's the thing. You got to keep trying because there's good and bad in every profession, right? And even therapy, right? The same thing. Like you're not going to click and vibe with everybody. I also don't vibe and click with all my clients. Like, you know what I mean too. And I'm very selective on the type of clients I work with just because I know I won't connect, vibe, you know what I mean? With certain type of issues or populations, right? Or,
Right.
ethnic backgrounds, right? Too. Like there are certain ones I just don't connect with.
Right.
It's okay to be like, at this time, I don't, I might not be a fit for you, right?
Right.
And things like that. And you got to just be open and honest with it. Like not just take all these clients, right? Or like the therapy, right? Like keep trying to find the right connection therapist for you, right? And if
Right.
not a therapist, a life coach, or there's a lot of self-help books that can also be a way to figure out like yourself, your walls, right? The why you put your guard up, right? Too.
No, yeah, and that is so true. I mean, it's kind of like right now I'm a student mentor, right? So I'm in the elementary schools and I mentor a lot of kids, and I have a team that I work with, and just because if I happen to be working with one kid, but I noticed that, and this actually happened to me, I started off working with this one kid, and even though we had a cool connection, but when one of my teammates came in, he gelled to her, and I immediately saw the connection was way better than what I had, right? So I immediately told her, I said, hey, I think your connection is way better. Why don't you work with him? Right?
Yeah.
Because I just felt the energy, and I felt that she had a stronger connection, and that's okay. Same with therapists. Like if you don't have the connection, if you don't gel with somebody, it's okay, but that doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm not a bad mentor. I think I'm an awesome mentor. But
Yeah.
he disconnected. I think because
No.
I think she was cuter. That's why. But, but it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool. Go work with her.
You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea,
You're not.
basically, at the end of the day.
And I say that all the time. Like we all receive and deliver things differently. So if I'm preaching something to you, and if it's not landing right, it's okay. You just probably can't understand me because we're all come from all different walks of life, different backgrounds, different races, everything, right? So it might land. It didn't land, and that's fine. But maybe somebody else is going to say the same thing, but it's in a different way. It's going to land better.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. But there is people like your friend, right, that are very guarded, that have their walls up, that their heart's been hurt, right, and those things. But, at the end of the day, it's like that's something that she has to kind of understand, work through, right, and figure that out for herself. Because if she doesn't, it's going to carry on to the next relationship or the next friendship, right? Not even just relationships, but in all areas of her life, right, is the thing, family, other things, work, is the thing.
And you see it, and I know a couple of people like that, to be honest with you, and you do see it in all aspects of their lives, like, and then they wonder why nothing's working correctly. It's like, well, because you have to fix yourself. Like it all starts with us.
Yep.
Right. Like everything, if you want a better life, everything starts with us.
Yeah.
Like you have to start with yourself. And I think that's why it's hard for me now, because I know, like I'm at an age where I know what I want. I've done the work over the last 6-7 years. I did positive psychology. I'm doing restorative practices now. I'm actually going for my master's degree in behavior now, because I want to get an ABA. Like I'm doing the work because I love how the brain works. And for me, like when I understand behavior and I understand you, like how we was talking about earlier, if you understand someone's behavior and trauma, it's just a different conversation. It's a better conversation.
Yeah.
Right. So, opposed to always assuming what someone's going through or what they mean, like try to understand them. And that's why I want to start studying behavior, because it's just a way better conversation. It's a different conversation.
Oh yeah. I love people watching, because people watching, you see so many different behaviors, right? And like, I don't know if you ever just sat and watched people, right? Like if you ever do that, but like there's so many different dynamics where you can learn from in how people connect, people communicate, people interact, what people do, people's facial expressions, right? Like I can sit there and watch people and analyze it, right? Like I love doing that. And I see that, but you learn a lot from it if you like certain behaviors.
No, and I do that. I think I've used it. I've been doing that for years. Before I even got into energy, because now it's more like I'm so in tune with my energy. I can walk into a room and I can just feel energy, right?
Yep.
I can tell, I can scan a room, and it is energy, it's behavior. I'm watching it all. It's kind of like, I'm almost like a profiler, right? I'm just watching people, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to talk to them. Cause I just see certain things. I watch people behavior, It's funny. I was talking to a student a couple of weeks ago, and, I caught him in a lie, and it's like, dude, I can tell you lying. He's like, how? Like, he was like, I said, one, you're laughing.
Yeah.
Kids, that's just a giveaway, right? But I said, I'm also looking at your facial expressions. I'm watching your jaws twitch. I'm watching your movement, how you moving your hands. I'm watching everything. Like, these are all telltale signs of someone not telling the truth. I can really get deep into it on how profilers do when they start watching your eyes and which way they go, because I know what part of the brain you're accessing. So I know I know if you're telling the truth or not. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. I was like, dude, that's how people know when someone's lying. It's like, you study behavior, and it's like, I already know. So,
but also knowing all these things, right? And understanding behaviors, that's also sometimes it can be an issue, right? When with relationships and dating or talking to people or friendships, right? Because we can see the red flags right away. We can see, like you said, the energy that people perceive. I'm an energy person too, and vibes. And if it's anything negative, I don't put it around me at all. Or if I do feel it, I can literally certain friendships had to stop, right?
Yeah.
Certain people, because of energy shift and changes, or,
Right.
but you have to kind of trust your intuitions, trust those things. But then also it can be an issue, right? Because we analyze everything.
No, yeah, and I actually had a friend reach out to me the other day, and she's like, "Hey, heard from you a while." Because I kind of went MIL. There's one group that I was kind of gelling with, and I stopped, and she was like, "Hey, where you been? You're not in the group chat no more." And I was like, you know what? I don't like drama. I really don't. Ever since I've been in my studies for 6-7 years now, however long it's been, so long. I don't get into arguments with nobody, and I can sense when there's some type of drama or something going on, just the energy, right? So for me, I'm like, I just stay away from it. I'm distancing myself, but I'm not saying I will never talk to you guys again. But I just feel like right now I just need that space, right? So I just stopped doing that.
And that's a good thing to know. And also it's okay to what I call it, protect your peace, right? And energy, because it's a real thing.
Right. It is. And most people, I don't know, they just don't understand it. I don't know if it's a growth, for me, it's a growth thing, right? I feel like there's always room for growth, and I'm always trying to grow. Every day I'm trying to be better than I was yesterday. It's just a growth thing to me. I'm constantly learning from people. That's why I like having these conversations. That's why I like talking to different types of people. I constantly want to grow. And I just feel like if you're not growing with me, then there's a problem.
Yeah. That's a key thing though too, right? Because sometimes I work with a lot of couples, so they outgrow each other.
Yes.
They outgrow, whether it's goals and alignment, values don't align no more, right? Or the income disparities, right, between them, right? Or not being on the same page of future planning, right? And all those things, play a big part in relationships too, because that's a key thing where a lot of people outgrow each other. They're not on the same page.
Yeah, they do. And I think when a lot of it is when, for instance, my first wife, we got together at a young age. And again, we were together for 25 years, which is great, right? But I felt like we grew each other. But it's just crazy how once we went through the divorce, she went and got her master's already. I think she's on her second master's right now. And she grew tremendously, and I grew. But it's we had to separate to grow. And people always, and because we're so great friends, people always say, would you get back with her? And I'm like, well, I feel like I have this great thing with her. I don't want to ruin it now, right? And because we still have kids together, I wouldn't want to ruin that. What if we do get back together, but then it don't work out? I feel like right now we just in this great space that I don't want to ruin. But the point of that was it took us both to go our separate ways, but we both grew.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing.
Yeah. is the thing. And a lot of times I think, with people dating, right? Because I hear a lot the conversations of, when they open up about like, their story or their situation, right? I think everybody wants someone that's like put together already, right? Whether it's has a, certain standards, right? Everyone has certain standards or requirements or expectation, right? But like when you're first dating, sometimes no one's going to have it all put together, right? At times, you know what I mean? You might struggle together, right? At the end of the day. And are you willing to do that, right? To get to know each other, to figure it out together, right?
Well, like you said, like when you first start dating and you meet someone, the whole thing is you're building a relationship, right? So that's the building part. Like you're going through all this together. You're figuring it all out together. Like you just don't go into a race. Like I'm not buying a relationship off Amazon, right? Where it's all put together. Like no, we're building it. So we're gonna have our obstacles no matter what. Even if you're not in a relationship, individualized, you're still gonna go through obstacles. So it's like, but we're building it, and that's why I'm trying to tell people. When I'm dating in my dating scene now, I'm like, no, it's okay. Because a lot of people are like, well, I'm going through some things right now. And I'm like, okay, well, so am I. Like, we all are. Like, it's okay if we go through it together, That's just normal. Like, and that's why I always say you're never going to be 100% ready. Like, no one's ever going to be cured from trauma or flaws. Like we all have them. So never,
never. Even if you're working through it, like there's always gonna be something that comes up. Another key thing, right? That's important is that like not expecting your partner to be who they're not.
Right.
Because I see that all the time. It's like, oh, I want my partner to do this. I want this, this and that. And their expectation is like, it's great to a certain degree, but if your partner is like, I'm just saying, doesn't care to go out, right? Like maybe homebody, and things like that. You can't make him force him to go out with you. Like, you know what I mean? Is the thing. You maybe have to compromise. You might, sometimes be like, and concerns with that, but like, you can't make someone be something that they're not.
Right. And I always tell people, like, you got to accept people for who they are, not who we want them to be. And that's one of the problems that a lot of people have. You have this expectations and you paint this picture in your head of how you want this relationship to be. It's like, that's not reality. That's not how it is, So yeah, no, you hit it right on the nail on that one. We got to accept people for who they are,
And then another thing, social media. You got to get out of that comparison, right? Of all these relationships, all these celebrities, all these other things, and what a relationship entails, because that's the thing that I hear a lot too with couples in therapy is that like, oh, well, they didn't do this for me. My partner didn't do that. Like, and it's a lot of like complaints, but what did your partner do? Right? Like, can you see that? Right? Like, because what you see on social media sometimes is not like, those are all highlight reels there. You know what I mean? But that's not your relationship. You can't compare.
You know what? Social media is so far off from reality. Like, I don't like someone tried to get me to watch a video today. They was like, hey, pull up your Instagram, watch a video. I was like, no, I don't want that stuff on my feed. Like, because it comes into your algorithms, right?
Yep.
And I know you just did a thing about that too, about you only follow and like look at things that's benefiting you, that you want, that's inspiring. And I was like, yeah, that's all I do. I don't want to look at all this fighting stuff. I don't want that on my feed.
Yeah. And that's important, right? The content you consume, what you see, is it adding value to your life or not? Because we can also watch a lot of junk and that impacts us, right? Like too.
Yeah, I mean, I think just in the real life, we already get so much content that we don't need in our lives that I don't need to add to it from social media. Like I really don't. Like even though I'm a big social media person, but I use it for the good. Like I look up inspirational stuff. I follow like your stuff and everybody else's stuff that's going to actually help me in my well-being. Like I don't want to see all this other stuff because I could just walk outside and see it, and I do. Like, and that's enough for me.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta kind of limit the content that comes into you, and you control that, right?
Yeah. With
TV, with watching certain movies and listening to certain songs, like all that's content that's coming into you. Like, so we control that. So I definitely control the content that comes into my brain.
Same to me. Like I always constantly look, I'm like, all right, no, delete, unfollow. Like, you have to, because it's too much stuff out there. You know what I mean? And if it's not benefiting your life in any way, don't engage in it.
Absolutely. Well, look, I know you have to get going because you have another meeting you have to go to, and I hate to cut this short because I had a whole list of stuff. But
it's okay. Next time.
No, absolutely. No, it's going to be a next time. And I'm gonna definitely, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties earlier. This is my first, like I said, my first Zoom. I'm gonna get it right. So when I have you back, it was funny. A friend of mine earlier, because I was telling her that I was gonna have you on the show, and because I love Vegas. 'Cause I know you're located in Vegas, right?
Yep, I am.
And she was like, "Oh, why we didn't go out to Vegas?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't know you wanted to go." I was like, "I actually would have went." She was like, "We could have did the show out there." I think we could have. We could have made a weekend of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love Vegas. I left the AV like a few years ago, so
yeah. No,
way more stuff to do.
Absolutely. I'm in Vegas a lot because my nephew live out there. But so next time I'm out there, maybe we'll do a show together out there.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. But thank you again, Mary. I truly appreciate you. I truly appreciate the content you put out there and what you're doing for people, because we definitely need it. We need everybody hands on deck to make this world a more peaceful world. The more energy we put out there, I think it's the better it's going to be.
Yeah, and thank you for you too, because I know we need males to talk about these things. Yeah. And I know, I make comments, and I say things in a message. I'm like, but continue to use your voice, use your story, because we all got one. And, and it's so important because males need to hear it, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And females, but definitely, you're reaching us. It's so much needed, the information that you're putting out there. It's great information.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm trying to get more males on my show. I mean, lately I've been having a lot on here, but I'm trying to get more of them on here because we definitely need that. They definitely need a role model.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, and go enjoy the rest of your weekend, your Friday. Enjoy your meeting, your upcoming. And thank you so much again, and truly appreciate you.
Right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.